Hi and welcome back to In the Loop. This is episode 4. Isaiah and I ready to wreak havoc on the internet and say controversial things about films once again. Last week we said we were going to do some more Marvel films.
We lied though.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
This is the biggest portrayal podcast history.
Yeah, we decided to take a break from that because why
Couldn't
not?
take it anymore.
We realised the next ones were 4. And we decided to we weren't going to do that for a while.
We couldn't do two bad Marvel films in a row. We just couldn't take the strain.
We're going to do stuff in between those. We're going to get back to that though. But today, decided to look at the other superhero franchise movies, Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, the first 2 DCU movies.
DCEU, or Worlds as DC,
whatever.
As they decided to call it at this point.
Because they basically decided to get rid of. Well, they basically got rid of like the concept, right? They're just doing not solo movies, but they're doing like individual movies now instead, aren't they?
Well, some of
like
them
Joker.
Are connected. Joker's obviously
its
own thing, but like Shazam is connected to Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
But you know what I mean? They're not trying. I don't think they're planning on doing a new Justice League movie or anything like that. I think they're doing like more individual-based movies, which is fine. But this is obviously they wanted to do a Marvel type thing here, and they started with these 2 movies, Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. So we're going to go after Man of Steel first, because it's the first one.
Spoilers, obviously.
Okay, so this is an origin movie for Superman. It came out in 2013. Basically, it starts off with on Krypton, the planet, before it's getting destroyed. You see the build-up of what's causing it. There's lots of issues, government issues. They haven't been running the country properly, stuff like that. It's getting destroyed. You see General Zod. He gets sent to the Phantom Zone because he's betrayed. Yeah. He performs a coup, but it doesn't. Kind of works, but not entirely.
He killed one
person.
He
gets into the Phantom Zone. Yeah, he killed a couple people. And they basically said he's going to get revenge on Jor-El's family, basically, because he had the power to, he could have tried to help Zod's plan. But Zod's plan was to kill a bunch of innocent people, but to save the rest of them, I guess. But
yeah,
this part isn't the best part, because it's kind of confusing to what's really going on. But either way, it ends with Clark or Kal-El being sent to Earth, or Superman, whatever. He gets sent to Earth, and Zod is getting revenge. And then it cuts to... What does it even cut to after that?
I think it is.
It cuts to it's a bunch of flashbacks, right?
Yeah.
There's
poorly defined sequence.
I like this section. It shows different moments in his life. So there's a part in the classroom where he's basically his powers, he can't control them properly. It's causing him a lot of issues. He can't control them in a conflict, that sort of thing. You see him saving people from a bus, which is drowning.
Yeah.
He shows restraint, some person's annoying him. He throws beer on him. He's annoying. He's harassing a female worker, stuff like that. But he keeps
he puts his truck through multiple
that was funny
pieces
though.
Of wood.
I liked that.
Giant logs.
Yeah.
And the guy's just kind of what?
What happens? Yeah. Basically, he won't physically hurt. Oh, there's another thing where the people are trying to beat him up, basically, and he wants to punch them. He tells his but it's like a pole. It's not the fence, but you know what I mean. Basically, it's just showing that he's trying to control his powers, but he hasn't actually done anything with them. He's just hiding them at this point, and he does know that he's not he thought it was God-given powers at first, but he finds out the truth. Obviously, they were sent from Krypton.
Yeah.
Finds
out that's the only truth he finds out relating to that topic, nothing else.
Well, what's needed? Anyway.
So I got my notes here.
Okay, listen notes.
All right, so you covered the first one, which was Superman's childhood / growing up. Is pretty great.
I liked those.
I thought that was a good sequence that kind of showed how he would struggle.
Exactly. You can't show an entire in-depth of these are when he first got his powers and blah blah. Because at the end of the day, with Superman, it's hard to do. You can't really do an origin story that well because he's an adult. He already has had the powers for a really long time. So I think they did a good job of showing flashbacks to him trying to control his restraint because he knows if he just does one thing wrong, he could kill someone, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's about learning responsibility and his place in the world.
There's one part of the flashback I really don't like, which is his dad dying. Not his dad, but you know what I mean. His dad dying in a tornado because he won't save him. I do not like that because at the time I actually didn't think it was that bad. A lot of people complained. I thought it was okay. I think he already saved a lot of people but he won't save. I know his dad didn't want him to, but I'm just like, because he didn't think it was worth it. Because they always said to hide, basically, for
He puts up his
reasons.
hand and he's like, "No,
No,
don't
but
save me. Just let me die."
I don't know. I don't know about that still. I don't think it's the worst thing ever, but I think it's kind of dumb when you've already been doing like heroic stuff at this point. If he hadn't done anything, like if they didn't show him saving people in the bus,
Yeah.
I would be like, yeah, fine.
Also,
because
Clark could have just gone and got the dog, and none of this would have been an issue.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he still would have had to, like, the dog could have still died.
Yeah,
Stuff
I mean,
like
I don't
Right.
think Superman would have got
Anyway,
his foot
this
trapped
isn't
and
that big a
break his
deal.
ankle.
I
but-
just don't like that. Anyway, some more notes. You want to go over them?
yeah, so I thought the Krypton bit was actually quite good.
I agree. I think some parts of it were kind of like they mentioned he's the first natural birth in Krypton in ages, which is kind of needless. I don't know why they. I don't know if there's some of the comics. I think
It's kind of
okay.
important to his character.
If it's in the
because-
comics, I just forgot it or didn't remember or didn't know it. So I was gonna say I don't really think that's that important, but whatever. If it's in the comics,
it's important to
fine.
his character, so that's why that was obviously included.
Yeah, fine.
Um,
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I think Jor-El is good in this.
I think all the acting's good, to be honest.
Who's he played by? Russell
Don't know his
Crowe.
name.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think he's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good
of course. He's
in
good.
this. Yeah, I think it's a slow burn, this film.
But I like it. I actually like this. I one of the main issues I have with this movie though is like the ending. There's too much action at once because like they clearly didn't put that many action scenes in, which is fine because they didn't. I don't think it necessarily. I think the story is actually good. I don't think they needed a million action scenes.
Are you saying
But
they
the
didn't
end-
need to destroy an entire city for no
I'm fine
reason?
With that. I'll explain why I'm fine with that. But first, I think it went on for too long, a bit too long. It got to the point where it was like a bit tedious. The action scenes were actually good; they were quite good, and the characters actually like the characters in this as well. So I think all that was fine. But I went on a bit too long to the point where it's like, does this really need to be going on for this long? The destruction thing I'm fine with because it comes up in the next movie, and it's important. So I'm fine
Yeah,
with that.
I mean it's a crutch for the next film, but you know.
Exactly. So I'm fine with that because it came into play the next film and was actually like a plot point. So I don't really care that much. I think it was fine.
I think Zod's a good villain in this. He's
I do,
not just
yeah.
like, oh, I'm an evil guy. He's actually driven by his purpose
Exactly. He
to
actually has
protect Krypton
Exactly, he
and
wants to bring
rebuild
Krypton
society. He's not
exactly.
just
I
an
like
insane
that.
dude.
It's not just evil to be evil. He actually has like a purpose. I like that.
And then when all of
Um,
his comrades kind of get sucked into that black hole, you see him fully snap and he's like, I have no purpose anymore. You have taken my purpose
Yeah.
away from me, and now I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to
The
kill all the
visual-
humans you love.
By the way, I wrote this down. The visual of him like the skull. Do you remember that? He's just like there's a picture like he basically asks what's going to happen to Earth.
Oh yeah, he
and it's
becomes
just-
part of the
yeah.
skulls, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really. I thought it was a really good visual. And how this movie looks quite a lot as well.
I don't like
I
the
think I
color
like it.
palette of this film.
Okay,
I think it's
I actually
too
like the-
dark.
I was gonna say people think it's too dark and stuff. I think it's good. I think it works for the movie that it is because it is kind of darker, which I'm fine with. I don't. Not every movie has to be the lightest thing ever, and I think this is good enough. I don't think it's too dark to the point where it's not enjoyable. I don't think it's too light because some Marvel movies, not to get on that too much, are too light, and this is serious. It's like a serious movie, and I'm fine with that. There's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah,
The tone, in my opinion. So
yeah. I mean, going into some of the characters, I don't think Lois Lane is that good of a character in either.
I
of
think
these
she's
films.
good. I think she's better in this one because she has less time in the second one, which is. I
I don't
she's
think she
good in
does
both. I
that
think she's
much for
quite
the
good.
plot in this.
I think you're wrong because she's the first one that she is her whole point basically in this is she's a really good reporter and she puts herself into her work a lot. And is like that's her whole point. She is a good reporter. She discovers him. She literally finds him, but she decides not to out him because of like the dangers that could come with it, basically. Because she like has empathy, so she won't just out him and the person that he is just for like views and stuff like that. She does have like morals. So I think that's an important part. I like the actual message, by the way, where Zod sends to let everyone know that like they are aliens and they're coming. I thought that was really well done. Like the whole TV thing. I thought that was well done. So
yeah. The other people at the Daily Planet, Lawrence Fishburne, obviously notable actor.
he's quite cool.
I mean, they don't really have characters at all. They're just
The
kind
rest
of
of
there.
them, the characters are in this are good. They didn't need too many, in
But
my
there's
opinion.
like character-wise who have stories. There's obviously Clark Kent's real parent, not his real parents, Jor-El, Martha Kent, and Jonathan Kent.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
And then Zod as well.
Yeah, the other Kryptonians again are just kind of
The
there.
other Kryptonians are kind of you don't really they don't really play much of a part. There's one that's there
Yeah,
that
his
does
kind
stuff,
of
but she's
second in command, but she
exactly she doesn't really do that much.
gets
But she's
punched,
just there.
so you know.
Yeah, but there are some issues I have with this movie. But overall, I do still enjoy this movie. I liked it at the time. I still like it.
I don't think
Some of
the
the issues
action
I had-
is great. Like,
I think the action's good. I don't think it's great. I think it's good though. I don't think it's bad.
I think the main issue I have with this film is kind of the action is kind of, I know it's difficult to show extremely powerful characters fighting
Without destroying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but I think there's just too much. Like,
I don't agree. I think it's
you don't have
done
to
well.
have like spaceships crashing and stuff. You can have a low
The
scale
spaceship had to
battle.
crash though. They
It's-
had to have the spaceship in the movie because that's the only news they could get there,
But
and they had to
this-
get rid of it somehow, didn't they? So
It got sucked
I
into a
think that's
black
fine.
hole, and it's like not all of these things have to happen. I think it was this film works better when it was a smaller scale story before it
but
then
it's
went
Superman.
into.
You can't have a smaller scale battle because it's Superman. That's the thing. I still think the fight was good. Anyway, the main issues I have with this is obviously the thing I mentioned before, that he does save all these people, but he won't save his dad. I know his dad didn't want him to, but meh. I don't the Krypton stuff is kind of confusing. Like the actual visuals are good and parts of it are good, but it's like there's only one codex, right? But they say Jor-El made it, which makes sense.
Well, Jor-El didn't make it. It's like
But he took it, right?
he took the skull thing, and then beamed it into Clark.
Right.
Kal-El as a baby.
This is the reason. This is confusing to me because why is there only one of those? Like, why would they only have one of those things? Unless it's really hard to make, which I'm gonna just assume it is because they never mention it.
I think the reason they have one is because they have population control and stuff, and they
Yes,
don't
that's
want,
true.
and they have
Okay.
set purposes for each person. So they've probably programmed all the data that they need for the next million or so years into
I
this
guess.
skull. And they're like, this
Yeah.
is where we can control it and send people out
Okay,
and
yeah.
set them
That's a
with
fair
their
plan.
specific jobs and whatever.
But putting him into his blood is such a like. And I know the whole point is sort of like Krypton literally lives within you point. I get that, but as like an actual plot point, it's dumb. There's no reason at all for it to be in his blood. He
It
can
should have been in
technically
that
extract
little
it, right?
Superman thing.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's not a Superman thing because it's a symbol of hope.
The symbol
remember?
of hope, yeah. The little piece of
Um,
metal, which I
yeah.
thought it was, and then it was.
That's what I thought it was, but it wasn't. Yeah, exactly. That was kind of confusing too. It being in his blood is I guess it's fine, but it annoyed me. If you actually want to bring them back, you're gonna have to take it out of his blood, which is like so inconvenient,
Yeah.
really.
I think it
But they had to have it somewhere though, didn't they? And I just think it's
should
fine.
have been in that metal thing.
Yep.
Yeah, another complaint I have with the action is at times it just feels like a disaster film. It's just like
I think that was intentional though.
I know
think
it's
some of-
probably intentional, but it's
Some of the
like
shots are meant to show that, which I don't know. I mean, some people might have a problem with that. I think it's fine. I think though, this is an issue. I think the reason people have like a large issue with the destruction in this is like it's portrayed as a bad thing. Like it's portrayed as really bad. Like it's meant to be bad that all this destruction is happening because it's like a catastrophe. That's the shots show it, and like the reaction to people show it. Whereas in like other movies, for example, the Marvel movies, going to get into this. In the Avengers, so much of New York gets destroyed, but none of it is ever shown really as like a negative thing. It's just
I think they come back to
the
it.
visuals of it. The visuals of it. Yeah, in Far From
and
Home,
Civil War.
Not Homecoming, you're right. I'm saying in other movies, it's not sort of mentioned as much because it's not shown negatively. I think people didn't necessarily think it was being shown negatively, but I think the shots and like how the visuals of it look, for example, like it is a darker color palette. I think that is meant to show that it is negative. It's not meant to be, oh look, all your stuff's getting destroyed. Isn't that fun? It's meant to be, this is like a serious thing. People are in danger, and then again, that's shown in the next movie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty fine because of those reasons. And also him killing Zod is
yeah, I
a
was
big.
just gonna go
People are
on to
really
that.
mad about this. Sorry, but
Yeah, I think the way that they set up Zod was when that final fight started was that he was a man who had no purpose anymore and would
exactly
do
at this
anything.
point, he just wants to cause destruction.
Just
at this
cause destruction. So from that point, you could predict that he's probably going to die because there's no way they can contain him. Superman doesn't know how to send him back to the
I was gonna say,
Phantom Zone.
he
at this
wanted to
point.
send him back to the Phantom Zone, but he didn't know how. Right?
I think I don't know if he thought he would just be on that ship and it would just be gone, and then I think his death in itself is very symbolic of Superman's journey in this film. Is that
But
he goes from he's like, Krypton is my home that I've sought after, and he learns about it and is excited about it at the start of the film. But then he's like, no, I need to protect people, I need to save lives. Although this is the last member of my hope and the last connection I have to my real family, I have to kill him.
I think this. I agree with you. I think this is fine. I do not have a problem with him killing him because it's a last resort.
Yeah.
It's not like a.
He didn't want to do it.
He did not want to do it. The emotional reaction to it shows afterwards. He's like on his knees crying, basically. He didn't want to do it. I'm fine with that because he's not doing it to protect other people when there's no other way of stopping him. I'm fine with it because there was no way to stop Zod really other than that.
Yeah.
Because there's no kryptonite at this point. So I think I'm fine with it. I think I don't think it's necessarily good or bad, but I think they did it in a good way to the point where I'm not upset.
Yeah.
But there's some things in Batman v Superman, we'll get to some stuff that I am a bit upset with. But
okay. So what would you rate this film out of 10?
I was going to say, I actually think this is a good movie. I still think this is a good movie.
I think this is fine. I thought it was fine at the time. I like Henry Cavill in most things. I like him in this. I like him in Superman, and I hope he comes back in the future if they make a good film.
Out of 10, what are you giving it?
Probably like a 7 or a 6.
I'm going to give you. I give this probably a 7 or 7.5.
I think
there's too many things. There's too many things like that aren't good to give an 8. But I still think it's a good movie.
This film feels longer than Batman vs Superman, which is half an hour longer.
I don't agree with you.
Because I watched.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, so Batman vs Superman. I'll kind of do the breakdown for this one.
Yeah.
First time I know. So basically, this is set. How long would you say the time frame is? Maybe a year.
They absolutely say it. I'm not even. They absolutely show a time span in this.
Do they?
I don't remember what it is.
Wow, that's
like one of the opening shots is like them being like this many months later. I think it's like 8 months later or something like that.
Okay. I'll maybe insert how long it is in the video if anyone watches that part. But that Superman is kind of being held accountable for his crimes by certain Congress people. They're like, what threat does he pose to society? Can he be trusted? How can we let this individual go out there and act without constraint? Remind you of any other films coming out around this time. Civil War, cough.
Just to let you know, this was 18 months after.
18 months.
It's 18. Okay. It's 18 months.
Well,
after,
now I don't have to edit it in.
Yeah, there you go.
Then you've got Batman. There's a lot of stories here. Batman's been being Batman for a real long time. He's great at it, and he is really good in this. Ben Affleck is a great Batman. And he sees Superman as a threat because he's unchecked
he is
power.
A threat, by the way.
He is a threat. The way they set him up in Man of Steel is that he is a threat to society. Although he's stopped the bad guy, he is still a threat.
Meaning to be a threat, but he is a threat still.
So Batman's trying to work out what he should do.
They did this really well, by the way, because in the first... one of the opening
so we're going to go into spoilers.
Spoilers, yeah. One of the opening scenes of this movie is Batman in the city, Metropolis, has been destroyed. And he's like driving into the danger to try and save people.
That's a great sequence.
And I liked that. That's a really good sequence. What's it? One of his friends dies in one of the buildings. Someone that worked for him.
Maybe his second in command or something.
Yeah. When a girl dies, not a girl, her mother dies.
Yeah.
And he's like hugging her, and he looks at the building that's like, and he just realizes like, this is the destruction
he looks up and sees Superman and like, the soundtrack is playing as like, oh, okay.
The soundtrack in both these movies is really good, by the way. The soundtrack's very good.
I'm going to say something which a lot of people on the internet are going to disagree with.
Ooh. No one's watching this anyway, but yeah.
But I think Lex Luthor is really good in this.
Oh, God. That's one of the points I didn't really like.
I know he's not comic book Lex Luthor.
He's nowhere.
His kind of manipulation of Batman and Superman in this film, I think, is really good because it sets up a reason. Although the fight is so poorly resolved that you want to smack your head on the ground in just shame, the lead up to the fight is actually warranted and is done really well. That they're kind of creating this mutual distrust for each other because Batman is very much painted as a villain by society. With the society of the film in this.
Well, it's because that's a comic book thing as well, though. Because Superman is the hero of
he's the god.
And he's loved,
yeah,
and everyone loves him. But in the like Batman is sort of seen as like not a bad guy, but he's not idolized in the same way, really. In a lot of the comic books, at least, which I think is fair because they're different very different heroes, which is why they clash, which I think is part of this.
Yeah.
I do really. That's a couple lines I really like in this. There's the one where he says, even if there's like a 1% chance of him being a threat, I have to take it as an absolute certainty because he's that powerful.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. There's a bit where he mentions as well, how long have you been in Gotham? How many good guys are left? How many stayed that way? So like with all that power, how long will he really stay good? Which I like as an idea. There's a really good a dream sequence as well.
With
where
that monster that comes out of the grave.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one, but there's another one later on. That one's really good. Because at the first I thought it was like a real scene, and then it goes to that, which I thought was nice. And the one where he's fighting the Superman like.
Oh yeah,
army.
that dream sequence is just.
That's a really good sequence.
Yeah.
So
I think Ben Affleck is genuinely
Very
the
good.
best on-screen Batman we've ever seen.
I
He
don't
is the
agree with
most
you.
comic
I
book
don't
accurate
think- I don't agree with that.
Batman. And
We'll
just,
get into this. He's shooting guns. I can never get in. I'm okay with comic book like changing stuff for a purpose if it's done well. There's no reason for him to be like firing missiles at people and killing. He's basically killing people, right? I don't think they flat out say it, but he is. But it looks like he's killing people, and he's going to kill Superman, which I'm more okay with than this. Like he's just shooting missiles at people, and I can't get it. I can never back that, honestly. But the rest of it,
I think
good.
him
The
as
rest of it is
the
good.
detective sequences is something we don't really see in Batman
Is
films.
there that many detective sequences?
Yeah. At the start, where he's working out where the white Portuguese is, that's it. isn't
Okay,
it?
yeah.
He goes undercover as that fight as Bruce Wayne. He's like trying to work
Yeah.
out all of the links to this cartel to try and
The
find
whole-
out what this is. And I think that's all really good and something you don't see a lot of in Batman films, which is actually a key aspect of him. Yeah,
Of the
and
character, yeah.
hopefully we
The-
see it in the new one, but you know.
The Batman Arkham games are the best for that, by the way. So
Yes.
play those. But I actually like this movie overall as well. I like both these movies.
I didn't
but there are
like
some
this film
issues
at the
with this.
time. I hated this film when
I
it came
liked this
out.
film more at the time than I do now. Actually, I really liked this when it came out. I still like it. I still think it's. But there are some issues watching it again that I just like. I can't get like. There's too much in this movie,
Yeah.
and there's not enough time. That I think the Ultimate Edition. One of my friends, Natasha, because she's actually gonna watch this probably.
Give it
She
a
really
shot.
likes the Ultimate Edition. Yeah, there you go. She really likes the Ultimate Edition. She told me to watch that, but it's 3 hours. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm sure it probably is better because if they gave like more development to some of these things, it's like kind of like I'm Afraid but better. Like there's too much in this movie.
Yeah. I think-
Wonder Woman's in it for no reason.
Oh, I
She's
think Wonder
okay.
Woman's great in this. Just like
No, I
her
think she's good. I actually think she's good.
her subtle
But she's in it-
introduction. If they hadn't my main issue with this film is the Doomsday stuff. Just get rid of
Oh
it.
my God.
You do not need to do Superman Doomsday in the second film of the franchise. That's like later on when Superman is established, you kill him and bring him back. You don't do it. You're 2 films in. You don't just kill Superman. It would have been fine if they'd fought, resolved, and then arrested Lex Luthor at the end. Fine. And Wonder Woman is still this mysterious character that we get introduced to later on. Because
I think
that
that
would've
makes
worked
more
better.
sense. I agree.
Yeah.
Because one of the issues is I don't think Wonder Woman is good in this movie, and she's good in Wonder Woman. But they added her in just to promote like Wonder Woman, really, and just have the shot of like the Trinity, which they have in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like I genuinely think even though she's good in this movie, if they didn't have her, it might have been more like because there's too much time spent on her randomly. It probably gets more development in the Ultimate Edition, and also the flash drive is so like really.
Click a trailer for these
Really?
upcoming DC
Look,
films.
Aquaman's here and Flash is here and Cyber. It's like that's dumb. They could have.
We've got one of those films so far.
We got Wonder Woman. No, we got Aquaman
Yeah.
and one. That's two because she's in there.
We have not. The Cyborg film is just gone
No,
forever.
but Aquaman came out.
The
and
Flash
Wonder Woman, that's
is
two.
constantly delayed. I mean, he did appear on the Flash TV show.
He paired on the Flash TV show. Yeah, so there you go.
Everyone watched that
Um,
clip out of context.
I think the Martha thing isn't
Oh.
as bad as people say. I think it's. I get the idea behind it, but it should have been done better. I don't think it's that bad though.
The way you explain it is that it
Okay.
humanizes Superman.
Yes,
Is that
the
it's
way
like
it is
he's
because-
not this
listen.
infallible god who poses a threat.
He's
He's a
another
man who
person.
fears for his
and the
mother,
family.
just like Batman, Bruce
I
Wayne.
also think it made him think about like, okay, the pain his own mother's death caused to him And does he want to inflict that pain on someone else potentially?
Yeah,
Because the name being the same is obviously
that's where
comic
people
accurate
draw
as well.
the issue with it, because they're like, oh, they have the same name, so now they're best friends. It's like, no,
But
that
that's not
scene
what
is
it's about, though.
trying to
People-
convey more than
exactly,
that,
trying to convey more than that.
and people
I
have
think
misinterpreted the
Exactly,
scene.
people have absolutely misinterpreted what it's actually meant to be about. I think they should have done it better, but I don't think it's bad, like people say. I think it's okay, but it should have been done like more emotionally. But the clear flashbacks to his own mother's death are such an obvious, like, this is what this is about moment. Like, people should have got it.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
think
people should have got this.
they
It's not just,
handled the-
oh, he has the same name. It's about, like, the death of a mother, what it meant to Batman, what it would mean to Superman, because he's a person. He realizes Superman is close enough to a person. He doesn't want to let innocent person die like his mother died, basically.
Yeah, I think the way they set up the whole, in every Batman film, Bruce Wayne's parents got to die. I think they do that quite well because they don't spend
Yeah.
too long on it. It's like, we do not need to see this again.
But okay,
Everyone
let's go to the
has
Doomsday
seen
thing,
it.
by the way. Lex Luthor. Oh, I forgot to even mention Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor isn't bad, really, but he's weird. He's too weird for me to be a Lex Luthor. They should have just changed his name. They should have done something else. And I know they like mention, oh well, you know, my dad was Lex Luthor. This is his son or whatever. That's the laziest cop out ever.
It's what they do in
There's
the
like,
comics.
No, I don't care. They clearly meant to say that this is not the original Lex Luthor. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that's what they were trying to do in the film, but
Right.
in the comics,
That's-
he does have the same name as his
I
dad.
know, but you know what I mean. That's what they're trying to do, and so like that's lazy. Just go with it at least. I don't think he's that bad though. I think he's okay. I think he's weird. I think the tea thing, the peach tea. I thought that was actually okay.
That was
When
that
I
was
first
good,
saw
yeah.
it. When I first saw it, I really didn't like it. Watching it again, because I actually caught the original line was that's actually quite good. So fair
Yeah,
enough.
I think he is fine. The parts where he excels is where he's manipulating Batman and Superman
Yeah.
into fighting each other. The parts where it kind of detracts is kind of the weird sweet thing and the kind of, you know, crazy when he's
They're
doing
trying to
that
make him too
speech at the
eccentric.
gala. He's just kind of like, haha, I'm a weird guy. Look at me, and it's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
I don't
what
like
are you
that.
doing that for? But and then
The actual manipulation aspect does work, and I like that.
yeah,
But some of it that I don't like is the whole Doomsday thing. It makes sense from Lex Luthor's perspective to do that. I'm not
it
going
does
to go
not
at it from
make
like
sense in the
but
terms
in
of
the
this
movie,
film.
Yeah, in the movie, it's like Doomsday should not appear for 10 minutes. I'm sorry, he's too big a villain. He's too important. And the character design, I didn't like at all. I don't like how he looks, really.
He looks like a flat CGI grey
It doesn't look
lizard.
good. And I get they did the whole he can't die. When he dies, he comes back even stronger thing. I get that, but I get the way he's killed isn't even bad. It's just like the way they should have done it later. They did not need to throw him at the very end of this movie. But also, doing Doomsday is hard in general because how do you do a movie like when
With
you fight
Superman,
Doomsday?
Death of Superman, where it is,
I know,
that's
but
a
I know what you're
documentary about a cancelled Superman film,
Yeah.
but the comic book
I know.
is
In the
more
comic
important.
book, in the comic book, it's easier to track it though, in my opinion, because you can just do a fight for the entire. You can't do 2 hours of Superman and Doomsday punching each other.
Well, no, they
It
kind of
wouldn't work.
establish Doomsday as more of this threat who's a genetically engineered killer who's
I
causing
know.
scourge across the universe, which you can set up through the course of a film where you can do like kind of
But-
what they did with Thanos in Infinity War, where they set him up as going and destroying other planets. They could do a similar thing with Doomsday, and then ultimately
But
Superman
Thanos
dies.
had other people like fighting with him and stuff. When you weren't fighting them directly the entire time.
No.
And I think Doomsday's just by himself. I think Doomsday would be quite hard. So I just think they should have just ended it with them to sort out their differences.
Saving
And they didn't
Martha.
have to be the final fight could have just been them two fighting. They did not have to have the Doomsday thing thrown. But the reason they wanted to, I'm guessing, is so they can have the Superman dies, but does he really?
They could have the big action scene with the lights in the sky is what they really wanted.
The light in the sky. They didn't even do that though, because he just got hit by the beam. That doesn't count. It wasn't a light. He got hit
But-
by like some thing,
Yeah, this film should have ended with Batman and Superman going and saving Martha, and then you just
and then
just
makes it
slow
probably.
fade out with like Lex Luthor being sent to prison or
prison.
something.
Yeah, because this is an issue that I think lots of things have, where they want to have like the final fight with the villain has to be huge, just because it's the final thing, you know. But sometimes it doesn't have, like the Dark Knight, for example. The Joker causes not much of like a physical threat to Batman, but it's about the things he does that makes it interesting. And the final thing in the Dark Knight, it isn't him fighting Joker. It's the Harvey Dent thing where he's changed him and he dies at the end, and Batman
Yeah,
has to like
go on the
leave as a
run.
result. Exactly. That's better than just if they would have just had a fight with him, the Joker. Like Joker, like, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to the Arkham Asylum thing. Where Joker, like, invests himself with the Bane toxin and he gets really, like, built up and he can physically fight. Like, it doesn't fit the character. And this doesn't fit, like, the movie. The movie didn't need this.
No.
And the only reason they did it, in my opinion, is so they could have Wonder Woman to do something, really. Because otherwise she'd just been in the movie for, like, not much. And to kill Superman off for a bit.
Yeah, I
That's
think
basically
if you cut out the Doomsday bit and you have it end where they still don't really know who Wonder Woman is, and Superman and Batman are like, there's this greater threat coming. You can still have the dark side threat from Lex Luthor at the end, but you can say there's something coming. We need to get a team together, and it's like we need to find these people. You don't even have to put the trailers in. You can just put like the little like pictures of them that he's found. It's like we need to find these people, and then that's how the film could end. That they've come together and they're like a larger threat is coming, and we've put aside our differences now. We're going to go and find the heroes who can help us to stop this impending threat. And that's a good way to then lead into Justice League, rather than, oh, we killed Superman, but now we're going to have to bring him back to life in Justice League.
Yeah. I think this movie is either too long or too short. It would have been better if they cut it a bit. If they would have cut some off, it would have been better. If they would have, there is a longer version, it would have been better because they would have had more time for Wonder Woman and more time for all these other things. Because Flash is in the movie for like 10 seconds. We didn't even mention. He's in the movie for 10 seconds. Why is he there? They didn't need to put that in.
Lois is the key.
Yeah, Lois is the key. That doesn't even really do anything. He doesn't even do anything with Lois. Like, Batman doesn't even go to Lois, does he?
No.
So Lex Luthor kidnapped her, so what was the point? Like, just some stuff in this movie would have got better if it had more time, or if it had less time, basically. If they could have cut some things, it would have been better.
Yeah.
But I still like this movie. I still think it's good.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Irons is quite good as Alfred in this. He's quite funny.
Absolutely.
Different Alfred, obviously a lot younger than what we've been seeing. Well, until Andy Serkis in the new one. I think they're around similar ages. But he's kind of, disgruntled, just working on gadgets casually, taking jibes at Bruce Wayne rather than just servant, so he has a character in this, which I think is quite good. There are hints to a wider universe, obviously, with the trailers that we've spoken about. And then Jason Todd is dead in this, which they established.
Yes, I liked that as well.
Quite good. Shame they ruined Joker in the next film. But, Suicide Squad is its own thing that we'll probably talk about at some point.
Yep.
Let me just look at
Lois Lane isn't that important in this movie. That's one of the things. She's okay.
Doesn't do anything in this film.
Doesn't really do much. She has a couple of good conversations with Clark, and she is researching like the bullet, which is obviously going to go back to Lex. Obviously, so that was kind of pointless.
Yeah, I think the best character moment for her. Oh no, it's not her, is it? No, the best character moment for Superman in this film is when he's talking to his Martha Kent, and it's like, why do I do this? It's like. I think that whole sequence where it's like he's genuinely grappling with people don't hate me, and she's like, people hate what they don't understand, and you need to be better. And that's the sequence of him going around and saving people from natural disasters and rocket crashes and things, trying to portray himself as this hero, while the media is trying to bring him down as this evil villain who poses a threat to society and is un-American.
Those TV clips were nice. I liked those.
Yeah, it kind of tries to develop him as this hope in the universe.
Because if it was set in the real world, there would be people who are like, you can't trust this guy. Because people are already in the universe, and he's so powerful. People would be so scared of that. People would say all this stuff about, you need to control him, you need to do that. Because how much would that change everything? Which is part of like as well. Because they don't really do that much. There's not enough, in my opinion, of like the, what if Superman is he? Because you never know. You don't know what he's gonna do, that type of thing. And even in this movie, he does show some doubts. Like he's like, he speaks to Lois at one point about like, this used to be a symbol of hope, but what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything on this earth or whatever.
Yeah, on my planet, this was a symbol of hope.
Him. Yeah. Exactly. But here doesn't mean anything. So this movie overall, more good than bad. I like this movie. I like both of these movies.
Yeah.
So I give this a 7 out of 10. I think this is slightly worse than Man of Steel.
I think this is better than Man of Steel, just because of because Ben Affleck as Batman.
I think if they cut the Doomsday bit, this would be better. Yeah. But there's parts in this that annoyed me more than in the other one.
Yeah, this was.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel. Next week will be something.
Something. We're not going to do superhero movies next week, right?
Yeah, we need it'll probably be a break from superhero stuff. So maybe something on Netflix or Amazon or any of the other million streaming services.
We could do The Boys, I guess.
That's still superheroes.
Oh, I forgot. What? You know what? Have you ever seen Daredevil? That's a.
No, is that like about the circus or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll think of something. I might put it out on Instagram about what we're doing if I decide before the day we record it.
If we record on the right day.
Yeah, if we record it on the right day. So if this episode is late, blame Isaiah's internet.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, we'll be back next week. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with your friends, If you have any questions about these films or thoughts, put them in the comments below. Yeah, the Instagram handle, I will put it in the description of this video and not just on the YouTube channel, so people can go and follow it. There is some behind the scenes stuff of it, mostly just me editing, but Yeah. All right, thanks guys.
See you.